Goldback really is agnostic because money is for everyone.
It's
It's
for
not
sure.
just made for the freedom fighters or for the preppers or for money is for everyone. So we definitely take that neutral stance that we're a currency company.
Financial independence,
freedom,
financial picture,
independent financially,
financial future,
financial freedom and wealth,
financial independence.
Get your fill, financial independence and long life. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Get Your Fill, Financial Independence and Long Life, where we explore ways to achieve those two goals, and really interesting, innovative people come on to help us with that. So today, Jeff is the marketing manager of the world's first physical, interchangeable gold money that is designed to accommodate even small transactions, which it's hard to do a small transaction with gold. But Jeff and his team, or Jeff and his group and his friends and his company are stalwarts of emerging financial technologies, and they're passionate about helping others establish financial agility in the digital age. Hey, Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks very much for having us. Appreciate that.
So explain how it all works, right? So I'm imagining like a virtual transaction that actually somehow ends up in gold. Tell me how, but make it like I'm a 5-year-old.
So you have money, right? No. So
wait a minute.
So the Goldback was created with an ultimate goal in mind. It was created originally to be a local currency based out of Utah. And from there, we decided to expand, and really, because we know what we have, and what the product that we have is something that solves a thousands of year old problem, which is how do you spend gold? So we have a technology which has been able to take 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold and break it down so it's now extremely fractional, to where you can buy a loaf of bread with gold, and it's extremely secure, and it's verified by all of our security features. So now we've been able to take that gold and make it so you can spend it. So on a local currency level, it works in several ways. We have merchants that are willing to accept it with a guaranteed or a agreed on price when they become a merchant for us. And then we have distributors that purchase it, and then we have the end users, the ones just kind of using the gold, the Goldbacks in different stores and things like that. So we started on a local level. We're trying to expand nationwide, because this has really taken the problem of money and the problem of it not being worth anything now, since we went away from the gold standard and it just being paper,
right,
to now your currency actually has value embedded within it. And on top of that, the utility also gives it value. That we've taken gold and made it so now you can use it. So the price today is somewhere around $4.63 for 1/1000th was our one denomination.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fungible. So you can go all the way up to the 50 Goldback, and it's 50/1000ths of a troy ounce of gold, or 1/20th. And it complements the gold bullion that the U.S. government has created, those gold coins, because the smallest fractional one that they make is 1/10. So we're not trying to replace the dollar, but we're not trying to take over. We'd love to just give people an option of saying, you know what, if you want to use the U.S. money or that currency, you go for it. If you want to use gold, you can now use gold. So that's really our ultimate goal, is give people a choice, but also make money worth something again.
So would you say that this is, like, I understand the whole concept, and I don't want to get us sidetracked on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got, like you say, we've got paper, and it's
right.
worth whatever. It's worth the amount of faith that you have in your government, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And to print more all the time,
right. Yeah. And now this is limited to how much gold we can actually there is. But
right.
We know the U.S. government has been printing money like crazy, like there's no tomorrow, right?
Well, I would too, right? If I had a printing press in my basement, I'd be making it like it's going out of style.
Right, you'd be printing it like crazy. But the value of that dollar just keeps decreasing.
Right.
When you add an asset like gold to it, now it's limited, and it breaks it away from the inflation. It no longer follows that inflationary cycle. It now increases with the spot gold price instead.
Yeah, and that's where we used to be, right? That used to be, we used to have
right.
a gold standard, and then they said,
oh, yeah,
this is way too limiting.
Yeah.
No fun at all.
We can't have as much money as we want. Who said that? So yeah, breaking away from that gold standard, we believe was a mistake, but maybe a necessary mistake at the time. Who's to say, really, right? I wasn't alive during that time when that happened, but I know that from the history I've read on it, that there are a lot of people that disagreed with it. And so we're trying to bring that back and like I said, make your currency worth something again, so you can actually spend that fractional gold. Not only that, but it can appreciate too, to where it grows with, like I said, with a spot gold price. We also have options available to help people that want to invest in gold back get a return with the leasing program that we have too.
So let's say that I wanted to begin using it as a consumer,
Hmm.
and I'm in Massachusetts, no one's heard of it. I don't have any
Yeah.
place to spend it. So how does that process work?
Yeah. So we have approved states where we've said, okay, the gold back is officially out in this state. It has now been released for this state, but really comes down to the store owner. If I own a store and someone comes to me and says, would you accept gold as payment? Really, that's on me if I want to accept gold or not. And
Yeah.
we found that the acceptance rate is somewhere around 50%.
Which
If
is
you
kind
say, do
of
you want
funny.
to be
Like, would
paid
you
in
rather have gold
gold?
or paper? I'm like, oh no, I'm going with the paper.
Exactly.
Going with the paper.
Right. Yeah. And some people are more comfortable with that. That's totally fine. But even out of the states where we haven't officially launched the gold back, we say yes, the business owner can accept gold or not. That's really up to them if they want to.
Yeah.
So it comes down to choice.
Yeah. And is it possible for a consumer to sort of wag the dog on that and get, a store or a place where they do business frequently, just get on board with that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And we even have a network of partners that are authorized that go out and try to get merchants to sign up and accept the gold back. But we kind of do that before we go into a state. We'll send out our authorized partners to try and get businesses to sign up. And we're signing up more and more every day. We have over 2,000 now. We're trying to expand that to be hundreds of thousands if we can eventually, with our ultimate goal of being in all 50 states.
Yeah.
But yes, that we do have a team that does go out and do that, and we have signups on our website. If people want to sign up and help us with our mission, then we'd love to have them.
So where are the states? I mean, obviously Utah. Where are some other states where you have a good concentration?
Yeah, so we're in Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, New Hampshire, and what did I just forget? Utah, Nevada, New Hampshire, and South Dakota. There we go. Thank you.
Interesting.
So almost forgot that. Yeah, so we're in 5 states officially. We're working on a couple more this year that hasn't been announced yet, but hopefully that announcement should come later in the year if we're ready by then. There's always setbacks. We don't like to officially announce anything, but we're working on several other states.
So how do you help the well, both sides of the transaction to feel confidence? I mean, what are they getting? Are they getting like a card or a piece of paper, or like what exactly is the mode of exchange?
Yeah, so if you were to come into one of our distributors and want to buy gold backs, the distributor itself can kind of set the price they want to sell for it. But on our website, we have a median price, which if you go to goldback.com, it'll tell you like the median price or the price that they're accepted for the currently. So today it's sitting at $4.70, and the merchants all agree to accept that for the daily rate. Our authorized merchants, the one that have actually signed up with us. So if you purchase the gold back, have these gold backs that you purchase from a distributor, you can go into any of our merchants that accept the gold back, and they will accept it for $4.70 worth of goods or services. So it's pretty simple, and we have a calculator online too, which will tell you can plug in the daily rate, and it'll figure out how many gold backs you need to cover that transaction. We're working on several ways to make that a little more simple, but for now we have that calculator on our website and the daily rate that's posted every day.
Okay. So I mean, is that something that I can see how that could make people feel a little uncomfortable, that they don't know in the morning, how many of these am I going to need to
Sure.
go buy groceries or whatever? So how does that manifest itself in like, do you have like an answer for that, or a way for people to feel a little more comfortable about that?
Yeah, so it if you check it once a day, that price won't change throughout the day. We only update that once every 24 hours, and that's the price they accept it for.
Yeah.
And if you have 20 gold backs and you're trying to go out grocery shopping, there really isn't a huge swing in that price. So if today it's $4.70, tomorrow might be 4.71, might be 4.68. It's not going to swing as far as now it's like $2.
Yeah.
We started out when we first created the gold back, they were worth around $2, and
Yeah.
that was in 2019. And since then, now they're worth $4.70. So because the spot gold price does fluctuate, you'll see a slight change, but it's not going to be a huge swing like you see with crypto. Like
Yeah.
today you're a millionaire in Bitcoin, and tomorrow you only have $1,000, right? So
Right.
it's not quite to that extreme. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think this Bitcoin, I think, is hard for people to really get their brain around. A lot of,
Mhm.
your average Joe or Jane is a little bit confused about how that all works. Whereas, Goldback, I think, is a much
Yeah.
clearer thing. So do you have like a Fort Knoxy sort of place where you're keeping the gold that is now being exchanged by your members?
Yeah, so the process of, are you talking about the process of creating the gold back or just where they're actually stored?
Well, yeah, I mean, if they are actually stored somewhere, so that it's not like, that there is a place and you've issued X number of, you
Right.
know, whatever, X number of shares or, fractional coins, and then they actually the full ones are living someplace and rather than like a faith kind of thing.
Yeah, so the gold back itself, like let's say you're wanting to invest in gold back and you say, okay, I want to get $10,000 worth of gold backs. We have a service through one of our subsidiaries called Alpine Gold, which will physically take those gold backs you purchased digitally and put them in a vault. So we have a free vaulting service through Alpine Gold. But as far as the fractional side of it, you're physically holding, if you go and purchase the gold back, you're holding the entire value of it. So
Mhm.
it's not like a fractional, you're only buying a piece of the gold back because we have different denominations. We have the 1, the 5, the 25, and the 50. But yeah, there is that online portal. If you say, okay, yes, I do want to have what's called a UPMA account, you can go and fund that account, and we do have that free vaulting service. So it's not out there in space somewhere. It's not some concept of gold. You physically have gold that's secure in a vault, and you can go and withdraw that whenever you'd like.
Cool. And
Yeah.
is this something that people like to have as an investment? I mean, compared to if I were an investor who was interested in purchasing
Mhm.
precious metals, how would this compare to just going and buying, an actual bullion that I get at the coin shop or whatever?
Right. And we have ways that can help your gold work for you. Not just by appreciating the spot gold price, but we have several programs. One of them is our leasing program I kind of casually mentioned a minute ago
Yeah.
about how if you invest in a UPMA account, if you open a Utah Precious Metals Association account, you can then fund that account and then open what's called a gold back lease. So the gold back lease, depending on how much you invest, can range anywhere from 2% to 3.5% in guaranteed return, that annual return that gets paid out every month. So if you were to go and purchase, $10,000 worth of gold backs, you fund that lease, you get that guaranteed return of at least 2% on top of the gold price that where it appreciates too. Because when you fund that account, you're actually funding it where we exchange it into gold, not US dollars. So as the spot gold price increases, the amount of gold backs you have in that account increases. And then also you get your annual returns that increases that account too. So it's a wonderful program, and it actually helps us fund the creation of gold backs because we're leasing those from you to then sell again. So it's like a cycling inventory. So that it's a wonderful investment, and the returns that I've seen in the last several years. I've only been with Goldback for the last few months, but just from what I've heard and what I've seen of the numbers, it is a great investment. I'm actually looking to starting it myself here really soon. Since I'm so new, I was kind of waiting till I gathered my own funds to start it. But it is a really great program.
Well, it sounds like, if you kind of to banking, right? You're getting stock in the
Right.
bank, the stock might increase, plus you're getting a dividend, right? Well, that's essentially
Mhm.
what it's doing because that is then allowing the bank or in this case, your company to go on and do other things with that money. Just like, I take out a mortgage and that pays the interest on your savings account, right? The same sort of concept.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like a savings account that appreciates. It's how I like to look at it. But it actually becomes a private trust to where you're the owner and the director of that trust. So if you pass away or you want to give that to somebody else, they can then become the owner of that trust instead, the director of that trust, so that there's no transfer. The government's hands aren't in it at all. It's just they get transfer the ownership of that trust.
Well, so actually you bring up a good question, which is, taxation, right? Is this
Mhm.
when people are earning money on this, is this like a security? Are they being taxed on that gain?
You would not be taxed on that gain because it technically counts as a transfer of precious metals, which in I think it's was it most states I want to say don't have a precious metals tax. I don't know the exact numbers on that, but it would just count as a precious metals transfer.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, that's something to think about too.
absolutely. Yeah, there's no transfer when or there's no taxes when someone passes away or inherits that. Then now you have to pay, and then you lose all those assets trying to give that to your family. It's a secure way to make sure that they have something when you want to give that to them.
Yeah, interesting. So
Yeah.
I know you guys are going to be at in Vegas in July at Freedom
Yes.
Fest. So
Yeah.
what if somebody happened to be in Vegas and they wanted to check you out, what could they expect from from you at that conference?
Yeah, so we're a sponsor of Freedom Fest. We'll be there July 10th through the 13th. It's at Caesar's Forum, so we'll be there in Caesar's Palace. Well, I know it's in Caesar's Forum. They have several different locations. I think it's at the Caesar's Forum Conference Center is where it is. But we'll be giving out some gold backs. We'll be talking about the newest things we have there, and also we've just secured a deal with Freedom Fest so that we're going to be the official currency of Freedom Fest.
Fun.
So anyone that wants to purchase something from one of the vendors, you can use gold backs at all of those vendors that have agreed to use the gold back. And then also fun things like coffee breaks you can use the gold back for. We're working on things uh, like some type of giveaway with that gold back too. So we have some plans in the works, some things that aren't quite ready, but that we'll have ready by the time we roll out there. But no, and we've seen this even at another show we've been at where if it becomes the official currency and everyone agrees to exchange it for a certain rate, it becomes really fun because it's something new, it's exciting, but also it has value and it retains that value when you exchange it for those goods or services so that they know when they leave the show tomorrow it's not going to be worth less, it might be worth more, right? So it's exciting to see. And there was one year where people kind of had forgotten that the gold backs were in these gift bags and someone found out, oh, people were throwing these away in the trash. So they went and searched all the gift bags, and the trash got like $400 worth of gold backs, like in that. So
Smart.
we're doing a little differently this year, trying to change it up. But no, we're super excited to go to Freedom Fest.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So, is there, I guess I'm thinking about ease of use. Is there like a
Mm-hmm.
credit card where it wouldn't matter whether or not the vendor took green gold backs that you're using that card and the fact that you're paying it off or whatever? I mean, would that be a thing maybe in the future?
Yeah, we're working on some type of digital where if you were to purchase gold backs digitally and not through that account that I mentioned, where it would still be physically stored somewhere so that it's and you or you can convert it to digital, but it's still backed by gold.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become out in the ethos. It's actually you still physically have that gold somewhere.
Yeah.
And but currently we do have a like a almost like a prepaid debit card. It's I think it's called a money. Don't quote me on this. I think it's a definitely is a card that you can transfer money from your UPMA account and you can fund it onto this prepaid card to where when you swipe it, you can pay for it just like a normal debit card, but it's a prepaid card. So if you have money in that UPMA account, you could transfer that from your Go Back fund onto a prepaid card. But we're working with several vendors to come up with a digital version of that where it's still back, so it doesn't become that representation of money. It still has money behind it.
Yeah. Still real money.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Interesting. I know, well, I don't know. I'm thinking about the correlation between when we had precious metal, right? When it really was
Mhm.
gold-backed security, what we had, what the United States used to use.
Right, right.
And imagining if that continued up till now, like how it would work. And that's why I asked the question about like a digital way where you
Yeah.
don't have to care if the person takes Visa or MasterCard, they can take that and it's just backed by a
Yeah.
gold back account instead of
Yeah.
by a regular checking account or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about if the US had continued with that gold standard, where we'd be instead. I was speaking with a gentleman the other day that was talking about how if you take that actual silver quarter that's made of silver that was 25 cents, it was worth about a gallon of gas, right?
Yeah,
And when if you go and if you try to exchange that for US currency worth its weight in that coin's worth its weight in silver, it's still worth about a gallon of gas. So while the inflation has risen, the price has risen, that silver price has just followed that trend of it's still worth what it was almost.
right.
So I think we'd be a much stronger nation had we continued that, and inflation would not be where it is today.
Well, like I said, you give somebody a printing press, they're going to use it.
Yeah, I'd love one in my basement, but
Right? We all would.
we work with what we've got, right?
Excellent. So what are some questions that you get from people who are considering, going this route?
Yeah, people are concerned. Some people I get talk about the longevity of the company because when we talk about the Goldback, we have this unknown territory that we're exploring, right? If you look at the history of local currencies, 100% of local currencies have failed, and 100% of fiat currencies have failed. So we're trying to
Eventually.
go about this a different way. And if the Goldback experiment were to fail someday, the utility of that gold back would not change, and nor would the value because there's still gold within that currency. And the utility is still there too, because you can still, it's been created, it's been taken from the fractional gold and put into this bill, you can still spend it. Imagine if you didn't have the gold that's within the gold back and you tried to spend 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold, how difficult that would be to take it to a grocery store, to take it to anyone really, and try to spend 1/1000th of a troy ounce. So the utility is still there. So people are kind of concerned, like, oh, what if Goldback just doesn't work out? What if nobody adopts this? Well, you still have something that has been created and has utility value behind it.
Yeah.
The other question that we get is more about, like you were saying, the price going up and down, things like that. The what people call the spot price of gold and the premium that's behind that too. People that are really into the precious metal space say, "Oh, the Goldback has such a high premium, and if you're not buying gold at 1%, then really, what are you doing on that too?" But what we look at is we say, well, there's the gold itself, and then there's the production value. And if you look at fractional gold and uh, the price or the premium that it is for other fractional metals, Goldback is only around about 56% versus other fractional metals or fractional companies that have created fractional gold that are at 150, 200, 250%. So we like to say this, and we're confident in this because of the technology, that we are the cheapest fractional gold company that there is around. So while there's other fractional gold and ways to spend it, we have the least cost behind it that helps it retain its value over time. So those are a lot of the main concerns we get, especially like I said with the precious metal space. A lot of people look at the gold back like, oh, it's just there's too much premium, but they're missing the point. It's not to just hang on to, it's to spend, it's to circulate, it's to keep local economies strong. Imagine if you had a local economy of 20 businesses that all decided, you know what, all of us are going to spend the gold back. We're going to take gold backs amongst ourselves. So a consumer comes in, spends the gold back at a grocery store. That grocery store goes and spends it for somewhere that they need cardboard boxes. The cardboard box place then spends it somewhere else at the manufacturing plant and just keeps circulating within that local economy. What percentage of the gold back would you lose due to transaction fees? 0%. So it retains its value, but also if you look at like someone that's using a debit card, it'd be down to 98, then down to 96, then down to 94. So it really strengthens a local economy and it doesn't go off somewhere to a big corporate business. You keep it strong and you keep that economy functioning. So that's another one of our big goals, and one of the things that people don't really understand about the Goldback. It's not just to look at, and it's not just because it looks pretty, right? It's made to spend.
Do you have one that we can look at?
I I've got some right behind me actually
Oh, it
that you
is
can see
pretty.
that is framed.
Wow. It's beautiful. Cool.
Yeah, and then on the back we have that's one of the other security features I did mention. So one of the other security features is the negative image on the back,
Yeah.
which is the exact same as the image on the front. And how this works is when they lay the gold down on there, you can see the ink. The ink is already there. They lay the gold down, and that leaves a slight imprint because the gold is overlaid on top, so it's slightly raised.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get some of this for my nephew, and if my dad were alive, he would really appreciate this.
And each one of them has a different piece of artwork on there, and we created this based on liberties, right? I'm sorry, based on the virtues. We have different virtues on each one of these gold backs because talking, and it's kind of a throwback to the old school way that currencies used to be done, right? Each one of these has a value behind it or something that we do value in this country, but also we try to look at the local level when we're creating a currency and see what does this state really value, what really represents this state and how they feel about things. And so we put a lot of time and effort into the gold backs and creating them, months worth of research before those actually go out. But yeah, I'll have to see if I can get you a gold back too, so you can check them out for yourself.
Oh, I'd love that. So
Yeah.
the gold is actually on is the gold. I mean,
Yes.
I know it sounds stupid because it's called gold back, but when you had gold back, it was still paper, but it was just, there was gold
Right.
somewhere, saved up for you. But so you've got the physical
Yeah.
gold in your hand.
Yes. And gold is one of the most malleable metals on the planet. So we actually have a process that we through a manufacturer called vacuum deposition that breaks down or that helps spread those gold atoms. We deposit it back atom by atom onto this sheet, which then it's enclosed between two polymers. So everything you're seeing, all of that color behind me, that's all gold. It's just we found the way to spread it out so well that it makes it spendable and makes it so you don't lose it too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I would love
Yeah.
for you to send me one. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to get you some gold backs. Then you can hold it in your hand and really feel what we're talking about too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited about
Yeah.
that. That is really cool. Interesting. So, Jeff, what is it? What's something that you wish I would have asked you that I haven't thought to ask you?
Um, I think we've talked about quite a good number of things. I think that it's important to note too where we've started with the company in 2019. We started in 2019 by just exchanging over 300,000 goldbacks from US currency into goldbacks. Now in 2023, we're at 34 million.
Oh,
So this is not just a small movement. This is something that's moving very quickly, and we're really excited with the direction. So that's why we're trying to get people to jump on board early, is because we really believe that this is going to grow to be a multi-billion-dollar company, if not more so. So it's exciting to note the growth, and the people that see the gold back and that start to use it really get it, and they understand what it is, how it can protect you from your wealth from inflation, how it can grow your wealth through the gold price appreciating and our leasing options, and how they spend. So those are our three real main pillars about the gold back, is protecting, growing, and then spending, being able to spend that too.
interesting. Wow, I love what you're doing. I think this is really fun and interesting. And I also have to laugh at the states who have adopted it already, because you're like, okay, these are, New Hampshire is the next state over for me. So I know
Right.
what New Hampshire's like. And I mean, I love New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire, but they are more, along the freedom fighter
Sure.
sort of mentality, right? That's more of it's a
Sure.
more place where you're likely to find a survivalist and people off the grid and things like that. So
Right. Well, and that's good to note, because Goldback really is agnostic, because money is for everyone.
it's
It's
for
not
sure.
just made for the freedom fighters or for the preppers or for money is for everyone. So we definitely take that neutral stance that we're a currency company. And while some people may see us as, oh, they're based out of Utah, they're that right-wing currency company. It's like, well, no, we're not. We don't adhere to any specific set of those kind of values. We say money is for everyone. Investing's for everyone. Trying to grow your wealth is for everyone, not just for those who are interested in freedom, right? we have
Right.
we have people on the far left, on the far right, and straight in the middle. It doesn't matter. Currency is for everyone.
Yeah, but I can see how an early adopter would be someone who has an
Oh,
initial
right.
distrust of the US government. Right? I mean,
Yeah, and a lot of
that's
the I would agree. Yeah, and a lot of the reasons that we started in those states was due to the ability of those states, the laws in those states that say that gold and silver can be spent as currency here. They're actually our currency. They are money, I should say. Sorry,
so
and
there
we've
are
created
states
a
who
currency
don't
with
think
that.
gold and silver is money. Sorry, I'm a
There's
little
states
naive.
who haven't passed that legislation to say that gold and silver may be spent here as money. So it was the easiest ones to get into, were those states that we started with,
Yeah.
to make it easy to distribute that and easy to start that movement. But we've had even centralized banks looking at this, very high level investors wanting to bring it into their investment firms as a diversification tool. Because that's one other thing that I think that we didn't discuss is how this doesn't just diversify your portfolio. This diversifies your money.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about diversifying into different things and, oh, you should spread your money here and here. But this is taking your money and putting it in a different form, which is the gold back, which is gold, right? Diversifying into that gold space.
Right.
So it's hedging against inflation, but also hedging against what happens when some of these other things might fail. Well, then you have a fail safe, which is gold, which over time has been traditionally one of the most stable investments you can make.
Yeah. Interesting. This has got my mind turning, because I didn't think this is what we were gonna. I didn't understand. I mean, that's on me,
Right.
right, for not doing enough research. But I didn't understand when I read the whole thing. I thought I got it, but now I get it. Now I get it on a new level. It's
Now I
cool. I
got you
like it.
sold. So I'll be sending you over the paperwork. No,
Yep,
no, I
absolutely.
appreciate
Come
that.
on.
And we really love when we see people that get our mission, that it's not just about something pretty or a collectible. It's about being able to spend it, but also you can control it. How much control do you have over how many dollars the US prints?
They never ask me. They never
They
ask me for
never ask
advice.
you.
They never ask me for advice. I have so much advice that I could share with them. They never ask me.
Right. And how much control do you have over inflation?
Exactly, same problem. The Fed
But how
should
much
call me on a daily
control?
basis, and they just do not consult with me.
Right. They should. But and then this is putting the control back in your own hands, because you can control how much you have, but how much we control how much is printed due to the gold, but it's already backed by something that you don't have to worry about, because it's a physical asset you can hold in your hands, not just debt, right? Not
Yeah,
just a promise to pay you, right?
right, exactly. In God we trust, all others pay cash, but it's the same thing, right? If you don't
Exactly,
trust the
right.
government, or if you don't, I mean, it isn't even a question of trust. I don't think it's more a
No.
question of, I mean, I've been hearing actually uh, all kinds of, you talk about fiat currencies not surviving,
Hmm.
in the long run. And it's been more than 10 years that people have been telling me how the US dollar is going to collapse and we're going to end up with this other type of currency and, a global currency and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think at some point, something like that is probably inevitable. But
Yeah, and we believe that that is possible. We know that that is a possibility, which is not the main reason we're trying to circulate it now, but it's like I said, it's putting choice back in your hands too. You should be able to choose how you want to live your life, but also the types of things you want to do with your currency and how you can spend it. So it's taking control back and giving the control back to you. So if that does happen someday, if we're theorizing that, yes, let's say the US dollar collapses, then the Goldback already has a system in place to kind of help with that.
yeah,
Because let's say it does collapse and now the only real value are things that have a store of value in them. Like, oh, people say you need to prep and store alcohol, prep and store tobacco, prep and store, all these things you want to just make sure of. But if you already have a system in place, how difficult would it be to spend a straight gold coin, like a 1 ounce gold coin worth around $2,100?
right, exactly.
It's on a
I'd
loaf of
like some
bread. It's
bread, please.
impossible, right? Yeah. How much are you trying to shave off the little tiny
Right,
pieces to give them what,
exactly.
and then they got to weigh it and test it. But this is already a proven method to where you can buy a loaf of bread with a Goldback, and it's verified by the numerous means of security we have on it. If you look at the Goldback, we'll have to have you look at one just up close and verify it. But we have all these security features like serial numbers, unrepeating patterns. And the fact that the technology itself used to create the Goldback would cost millions of dollars to even get close to something that looks like a Goldback, and it's never been done.
Yeah,
It's never been counterfeited. Someday it's possible, but today, as it sits, no one's even close to creating anything that looks like a Goldback.
yeah, cool. Excellent. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for opening my eyes and opening all of our eyes. And
Yeah.
if someone's decided like, oh my God, I didn't know this was out there and I need it, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Go to goldback.com. We have a list of distributors you can use to purchase, like a list of distributors that would sell the Goldback. Or if you want to get a hold of me, just marketing at goldback.com. Reach out and I can help you out and can answer any questions that you have.
Excellent. Cool.
Yep.
So thank you, Jeff, for being with us. And thank you, listener, for listening. Don't you just love how people come on here and like blow your mind with cool ideas and facts and things that are happening out in the world that I bet you didn't know anything about. So share this episode with, I mean, I bet you could right now think of at least 5 to 10 people who would be like, love to hear what we're talking about here. So share it with them and be sure to be here next week because who knows how we're going to blow your mind then. Have a great day.